Hello. Well, have you woken up to the fact that our government has become a tyranny? Our government has become a ruler and a dictator? Do you notice that the Republicans don't have an answer for what the Democrats are doing? And our government's not working for the people anymore, but just for themselves? Have you noticed that they want to take away your Bible, take away prayer, take away your God, and keep their God? Take away your guns, but keep their guns. Take away your free speech, but keep their free speech. They're the ones that dictate a law that says there's hate speech, and then they tell you that the only hate speech that exists is the speech that you're speaking. If you read a Bible or preach a sermon, it's hate speech. If you're Rush Limbaugh, it's hate speech. If you're a conservative Republican, it's hate speech. If you're an independent, it's hate speech. The only speech that is not hate speech is their speech. The only cars you can drive are their cars. The only planes you can fire are their planes. The only time they agree with you is only if you agree with them. Notice compromise to a Democrat and to dictators is that you simply agree with them, and that's what they call compromise. It's amazing that people want to take away your weapons. They want to take away your Second Amendment. They're talking about a whole new Bill of Rights that guarantees everybody everything, and that's the way they keep you voting for them. You keep on believing that these folks are going to give you all the money you need, all the cars you need, and all the clothes you need, and all the education. They're going to educate you how they want to educate you, not how you want to be educated. Go to college and ask questions from a conservative point of view. Go to Harvard, go to Yale, go to Columbia, go wherever you want to go, and try to speak about God or Christianity, or ask questions about the America we once knew. Ask about our presidents, George Washington and Abe Lincoln, all them folks that believed in God, believed in the Bible. Christians need to wake up. If you're a born-again Christian, Spirit-filled, Baptist, Methodist, whatever, you need to wake up to one fact, that we don't just need a new Republican Party and get rid of the Democratic Party, period, the progressives, and we need a new government. We need a new party. We need independent Americans deciding what goes on in this country. We need a government that's of the people, by the people, and for the people, not one of the government, by the government, and for the government. Remember that progressives, Barack Obama, and the Democratic Party, believe that they are so intelligent, they're so much smarter than all the rest of us, that you don't need a brain. You don't need to know how to think or speak or know what's right or wrong for you as an individual. Folks, we need to wake up, we need to stand up, and we need to vote. Election's coming up in 2 years, and I'm telling you now, you better get wise to Barack Obama. You better get wise to the Democratic and Progressive movement. You better get wise, because they're getting ready to take over the House, the Senate, the White House, and the Supreme Court if we just sit back and do nothing. And that's what happens, that bad people can conquer us if good people sit around and do nothing. Their whole goal is, in 2014, to do just what they did in the last election. This time to take the House, the Senate with a majority, and the White House, and then you will see Barack Obama try to run for a third term. If not, you'll see his wife try to run for president. If you think that they've done all this over these 30, 40 years to get this man in office and to create this new government, that they're just going to go for an 8-year term, you're slightly losing your mind. They are operating in the sense that they will never leave the White House, and they will control this country through their government. This is a dangerous time for America. They are looking for a one-world government, one-world rule with a one-world currency, one-world God, and they're going to be in charge of it, and we're simply going to succumb to what they want us to do. There will come a time that people will not be able to work or have their lights on or have a car or buy gas or groceries or food. You might think this is foolishness, but they're working toward that end right now, to mark you, to put a chip in your hand or your forehead or somewhere that they can recognize you by a number, to where when you go to the grocery store you just scan your hand or your forehead or whatever. You don't have money, you won't have credit cards. You'll have a bank, and they'll put your time that you work into that bank, and that will give you so much credit, and then they will sell you the food and gas and cars or whatever else they want you to have. But remember, you will be driving the cars they want you to have. You'll be buying the gas they want you to have. They'll be selling you the clothes they want you to have, and they will be sending you to the schools they want to send you to. Now, I know a lot of you are sitting there and go, oh, well, you just don't like him because he's black. I wouldn't care what color he is, black, blue, white, green, yellow. We've had many presidents who were progressive liberals who had the same ideas, and they were white, and I didn't like them either. It has nothing to do with color. It has to do with what you believe and how you think this country should be run. And to know for a fact, if you go back and look at what they've studied, that if you can get enough people to vote for you, if you can get that 51 or 52% to vote for you by you giving them their food and their groceries and their food stamps and paying them not to work. See, Barack don't care if 24 million people out of work. He keeps paying them not to. And as long as you pay them not to and take care of them, they're going to continue to vote for you. So those 24 million people are almost a guaranteed vote for the Democratic Party. Unions are a guaranteed vote for the Democrat Party. Blacks vote 95% of the time for the Democrat Party. Your Hispanics vote for the Democratic Party. And what they have done is very smart. They have simply been collecting people on their side to vote for them by giving them freebies with your money and your tax dollars. And it's not going to stop, folks. How is it that this president can make executive orders one after another and another and another, and the Republicans don't seem to do anything to stop it? He spends all this millions of trillions of dollars, but yet the Republicans in the House have the purse strings. They have the ability to stop the spending and won't do it. So are the Republicans on our side? Are the Republicans the people we think they are? Are they the Christian and conservative party we think they are? I don't think so. I really don't think so. If you're going around every day and you are afraid of the next decision that the president will make or the Democrats will make, notice their arrogance. Harry Reid don't care what you think, what you feel, or how you feel about it. He does what he wants to. He doesn't have a budget for 3 or 4 years. He violates the law, and nobody in the Republican Party seems to be able to do anything about it. They make laws and pass laws. They make regulations. Kathleen Sebelius makes regulations. Eric Holder, they all make regulations. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of regulations made by Homeland Security and Health and Human Resources, and regulations are laws not passed by the Congress. So this whole country is having to live to and succumb to regulations through non-elected people that Barack Obama, as president, wants them to pass. He wants to regulate them right out of business. That makes them dependent on the government for their living and their existence. This is tyranny, folks. This is dictatorship. This is what we've come to. A country that's no longer one nation under God, but it is a divided nation. 50-50. Half of it's supposed to be Christian, conservative, Republicans. The other half are Democrat, progressive, liberals. And both sides seem to want their way. But in Congress, are the Republicans really conservative? Are the Republicans really Christians? Are the Republicans really for gun control or not? Are they for the Second Amendment and the First Amendment? Why is it that the press seems to have so much authority under the First Amendment, But the nation's people do not have the same authority under the Second Amendment to express their speech. You see, a weapon on your side, in your pocket, or in your home is free speech. The Second Amendment was guaranteed to us to help us keep our free speech and our freedom of religion. These are not separate individual rights. It's all one segment of, you have a free speech, freedom of press, freedom of religion, and you have a right to bear firearms to help you keep that First Amendment, and all the other amendments simply attach themselves to it. They were to protect us from what went on in England. Why people left England to come over here looking for a freedom to worship God the way they want to serve God, and to have their weapons handy with them at any time. All this started back in the, I guess, the Western days, when everybody was trying to take everybody's guns because the bad people would come to town and shoot her up, and, if you will, this is silly, but Wyatt Earp, all by himself, determined there wasn't going to be any guns in town. He violated their Second Amendment right because of the bad guys. He took guns from all the good guys. That's all these people know how to do, is to remove everyone's gun, thinking that no bad guys will have them. Well, who's to determine that the government's not a bad guy? Who's to determine that the military might not break bad on us? Who's to determine the new laws and rules that says what the military can and cannot do? Would the government of the United States use the military to enforce their rules and regulations and laws when it comes to the environment, or Second Amendment, or free speech, as a Christian? See, people, we have for 50 years or more believed that our senators and congressmen thought like we did, believed like we did, and loved America like we did. Well, we found out that's a lie. They operate on their own behalf through all these people going up to the Congress with all this money, and it's a scam. The whole federal government is nothing but a Ponzi scheme. They're getting richer and richer and complaining about the rich having too much at the same time. They were talking about rich got to pay more taxes, but it ended up that every American's taxes, payroll taxes, went up 2.5% in January. He wasn't going to raise anybody's taxes, I thought. Anybody in the middle class wasn't going to have a tax increase. Have you heard Barack Obama talk about that any? Have you heard the Republicans say, no, that is not going to happen? Have you heard Barack Obama make an executive order saying, no, that tax rate of 2.5% is not going to go up? See, folks, we have believed the big lie. We have believed the great lie. We have been deceived. And yet, we continue to allow ourselves to be deceived every day. The news media cannot get the story, the underground story of the underground government that's going on. We don't know what all the super rich people are doing underground with our government. We don't know what the lobbyists with millions and millions of dollars are doing with our senators and congressmen in Washington, D.C. You don't know what's going on in the fancy restaurants and the wineries in Washington, D.C. See, we don't know, and that's what keeps us deceived. God says that my people perish for the lack of knowledge. That's not just biblical knowledge. That's knowledge of what your government's doing. Excuse me. What your senators and Congress are doing, what your governor in the state is doing. See, we are in an unhealthy relationship because we trust them to do our bidding for us instead of us doing our bidding for ourselves. We must stand up, say what we believe, say what we think, talk about our God, prayer. What are they teaching my grandkids in school? I don't know. What are they saying to them? What do they say about God or Jesus? What do they say about society? Notice they don't want homeschooling. They want you into public schools. How did our public schools down the street from our houses where our kids will become government schools? And why do the teachers and principals think that they have rulership over your children more than you do. Why is it that we are afraid they might see our kids being spanked and will report us and the police is going to come get us? That's tyranny, folks. Everybody seems to have power that's in the government over the citizens. No matter where you go or what you do, somebody is telling you what you can and cannot do. Now, I agree we got to have laws. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. But you know, the government seems to violate those laws more than anyone else. Why is it they've got to have tanks and guns and planes and bombs and A-bombs and atom bombs supposedly to protect us from war, from the enemy coming over here and getting us? We are at war with terrorists, supposedly, and they don't want us to have any guns to protect ourselves because they're going to do it for us. You really believe that? Well, they didn't protect that school full of kids, did they? Did they? They didn't protect them, did they? They didn't stop them from flying planes into those buildings in New York City, did they? They didn't stop them from trying to blow up the Trade Center before, did they? They did not stop the 250-something Marines getting killed in Lebanon, did they? They didn't stop the World War, did they? Your government cannot and will not protect you and take care of you the way you think. So you need to register to vote. You need to stand up. You need to do what God's called you to do. And we need to come together and do not let the Democratic Party, the progressives, take over the House and the Senate. And we need to get the White House back. And we need to hold our politicians accountable for what they say and do. And the Republicans need to get off of their behinds and get to work on behalf of the people and stand up and fight Obama and fight all these regulations that's coming out of the White House. Thank you for today. Have a good day. Be blessed in the Lord, and may this help you in making your decisions. Bye-bye.